Recording in progress.
Very good morning, guys. Last day, we just been talking about authentication and authorization. So how many types of authentications are there? 4 types. What is the first one? Anonymous. Anonymous means no authentication. Anyone is free to use or access the application. Second option is going to be Windows authentication. Windows authentication means application depends on the operating system's security. Application depends on the operating system's security. Third option, forms authentication. And coming to the forms authentication, I said you, array, forms authentication is the normal authentication what we generally see in every web application. Your Facebook, Gmail, every one of these uses forms authentication only. And open authentication is an extra option that is added for you in multiple applications without a separate registration, But what you don't know is when you go with the Google authentication also, what happens, Suppose in Amazon, you want to log in into Google. You want to log in by using the Google authentication. What Amazon will do is, Amazon will connect to Google, will load the details from the Google, will load your details from the Google, and it will create you that account under the Amazon server again. Did you get my point? Only thing is you're not doing a registration. But the internal process is, what will it? You enter the Google password and user ID. Amazon application will connect to Google. And now Google will provide the details of the customer. And automatically, that application, the data will be loaded into Amazon database. And Amazon will store it inside of it now. Got the point? So that's why anytime first time you use a Google authentication, it will take time. First time you use a Google authentication, it takes time to complete all the process. Second time onwards you use Google authentication, it will be faster. The reason is because earlier you are contacting the Google server, gathering the details. Second time onwards, just only Google has to authenticate and tell valid. That's all. Because all the details are already stored in Amazon. Understood my point? I'll show you that in detail for you when I explain you about open authentication. In the core, I'll teach you open authentication, how it works and all. Okay, there we'll discuss. But as of now here, we are just going to purely discuss on Windows and forms authentications. So first, let us start with the Windows authentication. What is Windows authentication? Windows authentication in the sense here, we are logging into the application by using the Windows credentials. We are logging here by using the Windows credentials. The same Windows credentials are now used for logging into the application. Let's try this, guys. I'm creating a project, MVC app with Windows Auth. I'm opening in admin mode, run as administrator, because I need to host it on the IIS. Because normally, if it is IIS Express, all these things will not work. Only on the IIS, because IIS Express is only for testing our application. That's all. Authentications, authorization, all these functionalities will not be there. So create a new project. ASP.NET web application. D drive, MVC, create. I'll go with an empty. No props. I'll go with an empty. Now what you do, host your project on IIS now. Now host the project on IIS by creating a virtual directory. And you know how to do that? Yes or not? I'm not going to teach you about that, how you do it. How do you do? Open the Solution Explorer, right click on the project, properties. Okay, properties. Now go for web. Go for web. Scroll down. If you scroll down here, you'll find the option called as IIS Express. Change to, click on the create button. Click on the save. Save it. What next? Open IIS Manager. Open the IIS Manager. Come to your what is it? MVC application with Windows Auth is the project. Now on the right side, select Authentication. See there, anonymous authentication is enabled. Right click, disable. Windows Authentication, right click, enable. Windows Authentication has been enabled. Are you clear? Guys, when you enable the Windows Authentication, what is the meaning? All Windows users have a permission to access the application now. Did you understand my point or not? All Windows users have access for the application. Means right now I logged in with a user account called NIT. Yes or not? I have permissions to access the application. Suppose you are creating a new user account with the name called Raju and I'm trying to access. I have permissions now. Understood or not? No, sir, I don't want to give permissions for Raju to access the application. That is what we call authorization. That is a separate story. First, we are talking on authentication. Authentication means all Windows users have a right to access the application. Did you understand or not? Okay, watch it. What I'm doing. I am first adding a controller in the project. We'll name it as home controller. So right click, add a controller. Name the controller as home. You have an index action method. And for the index action method, I just wanted to add a view. For the index action method, I want to add a view. Okay, choose a layout and just create a view for this. Yeah, right click, add view. Just going to choose a layout and click on the add button. And observe, guys. Yeah. First, I'm setting up a title. What is the title? Site homepage. So understand, guys, this is the homepage of the site now. This is the homepage of the site. Next, it'll show you the title. Now 4 links it will show you. What is that? First one, staff homepage. And see, manager homepage. Manager homepage. Where is it? No. Manager homepage. Action method name is home. Controller name is manager. Here, this is action method, not controller name. Okay. But I want to write a method with a name called as home now. Same way. Action method name. Controller name. Same. Home and help staff. Means 2 more controllers we are going to define now. One is with the 2 action methods. One is with the 2 action methods. Okay. Come on, let's do it. Go to controller. What is the name, guys? Manager is the name. Manager. Staff. And we want to write 2 methods here. What is the first method? Public view result home. Return view. Next, second method, public view result. The method name is help. Return view. Now copy the two methods as it is and paste them in the staff controller also. Is it clear? So first what will open? Site homepage. Site homepage will show you 4 links to you. For going to manager homepage, manager help page, staff homepage, staff help page. Got the point here? And when you click on this, the appropriate pages. Now, shall we create the views for the 4 action methods now? First, we are in manage controller, home, add view. Simple content, guys. I'll demonstrate the code. Watch. Simple again. We have a title there. What is the title? Manager homepage. Next. A caption. Next. This page is accessible only to managers. I'll talk about this in detail. Hold on. Next. I'm showing the name of the user with which you logged in. You logged in now with into your operating system with which account now? I'm trying to get the name. How to get? HTTP context dot current dot user dot identity dot name will tell me the name of the Windows user who is currently logged in. Understood my point or not? Okay, next, back to site homepage. You're back to the site homepage. You click on this, again, it will take you to homepage index. Are you clearer or not? Same content I am copying now. Oh, sorry. We did not add a view for help now. Right click on the help, add view. What did you see in the previous page? Accessible only to managers, correct? Huh? But this page is accessible to everyone, guys. This page is accessible to everyone. See the content. Manager help page. Next. But in the previous, what we said, this page is accessible only to, okay, na? And here also I'm showing the username. Back. Do the same thing for staff also. Right click, add view. Copy this content, paste here. This page is accessible only to staff, only to staff members, only to staff members. Okay, now, what is this, guys? Staff homepage. Clear? Next. Copy. Paste. Come on, change. Staff help page. Staff help page. This page is accessible to everyone. Is it clearer? How many controllers I created? 3 controllers. In the first controller, we have 1 action method, 1 view. Second and third controllers, we have 2 action methods, 2 views. Right now, there are no restrictions, nothing. Try to run the site homepage first. What I'm running first is the site's homepage. Okay, all the 4. You click on manager homepage. Manager homepage. Who is the user? See? Server is the computer name. Username is NIT. Okay, na? And you go to manager help page. Again, same user. Staff homepage. The user is same only. Understood or not? Then what you guys do now, you know? Create a new user account in the Windows. I'll teach you how to do. Create a new user account in Windows. And try to log in by using the new user account. Did you understand me? Create a new user account in Windows and try to log in by using the new user account. You should be able to access the application also with the new user account now. Oh, everyone can access? Yes, everyone can access. I'll teach you how to create a user accounts. You people try to sign in by using the new user account. I cannot show you. Reason is, if I change the user, the meeting will end up now. Did you get my point or not? Zoom will stop off now. If I change the user account, Zoom will stop off. So I'm teaching you how to create a user. And also I'll tell you how to sign in as a new user. You try that. Okay now? Watch guys. Shall we create a new user account now? Open computer management on your system. In the left-hand side, you'll be finding an option called as local users and groups. And when you see the users, it will show you the current users now. Which user? There is another user also called as admin. Are you clear? See, these arrow marks are shown now. They're just shortcuts. Don't bother about them. These arrow marks, ignore the arrow mark users. Don't look at them. Only one user is admin. Shall I create a new user account now? It's a simple process here, but you should have a admin privileges to do it. Right click, new user, asking for the name of the user. I'm giving the name of the user, Raju. Full name, I'm giving my name here. Description, this is a new user account. Is a new user account. Okay now? And here it will ask you for the password. I'm giving the password as 123456. 123456, a password. Now I ask you what, user must change password at next login. Tomorrow, when you work in a company, system administrator will be there in the organization who will create a user account for you. When he creates a user account, he will select this option. What option? He will give a random password here. 123456 is the password what he gives now. The first time you log in, the system will prompt you and ask you, set your own password now. Did you understand my point here? Okay, I'm not using it, but you understood the functionality of it now? Suppose if I go for selecting this option, then it gives you other options now. What? If I select this one, user must change password at next login. I'm not selecting. If I select, user must change. If I don't select, then how? I don't want the user to change the password. Password never expires. I'm selecting the option user cannot change the password and password never. And if I select this, account is disabled. Account will go to disabled state. But I'm selecting only these two checkboxes. Click on the create button. And guys, observe the new user account is created. Just a minute. I'll create one more user also. Then we'll see. I want to create a name called Venkat. Okay. Some name. Again, this is a new user account. Now I'm giving the password as 654321. 654321. Choosing these options. Create. Close. How many accounts are created? Check them. Are you clear? Now, guys, what you can do now, now you try to log out of your application. Log out of the OS and you can log in by using the new user account now. How, sir? See, you click on the start button. Here it is showing the current user, see? Yes or not? And when you click on this, on the top of it, it is showing you, see now. Are you clearer or not? So if I select this account now, I'm logging as Raju now. If I select this account, I'm logging as Venkat. But problem is, if I do that, immediately Zoom meeting will end up there. That's why I'm not showing in the classroom for you. Will you try that now? Log in by using this account. Okay, once the login is completed, open the browser and access your application. How do you access? HTTP localhost / what is your project name? MVC with Windows auth / home / index. It will open the home page now. Now click on the manager. It will show you the name of the user with which you logged in. Suppose if I log in by using Bangaraj, it will show you server / Raju. If I use Venkatesh, it will show you server / Venkat. It will show you the appropriate details. Miss, Everyone can log in, sir. Yes, everyone can. How many users are there on this machine? All the users can log in by using the new account. Are you getting my point or not? Everyone, you create 10 user accounts now. All the 10 can log in. Understood till now? Are you clear with authentication? Tell me. Okay, so this is authentication. All the users on the Windows can now access the application. With which user account you log in, it will show you that. Okay, now? Next. What next? Sir, right now you're telling every user can access all the page. Okay, fine. So all users can access, but I want this page. Which page? Should be accessible only to managers. Only to? And this page should be accessible only to the staff members now. Did you catch my point or not? Yes or not? Now comes the second thing, authorization. You are done authentication till now. The next stage is, means if I click on this, it should be accessible only to managers. If I click on this, it should be accessible to staff. But this page should be accessible to everyone. And this page also should be accessible to everyone. And even this page should be accessible to everyone. Did you catch my point here? We'll do one thing then. To test this, how to do that, let us create few accounts now. I want to create 2 manager accounts, guys. 2 manager accounts. Manager 1 with a password 1234. Manager 2 with a password 4321. This is a manager account. And I want to create 4 staff accounts. 4 staff accounts. Staff 1. Staff 2. Staff 3. Staff 4. Okay, want to create still more. Just add the number of accounts. Okay, now? Just now I explained you how to create the accounts now. Can you create them? Tell me. Shall we try creating these accounts now? We'll create all these particular accounts now. Okay. So come to the computer management. Where is it? Closed off. Huh? I closed off, I think. Computer management. Local users. And I don't want these 2 accounts. Just to give you an idea, I created them. That's all. Okay. So let me delete them, guys. Delete. And also delete. We'll create our required accounts. 2 managers and 6 staff accounts. Come on. Right click. New user. Manager 1. Full name is optional. Full name is optional. Description. This user is a manager. This user is a manager. 1234. 1234. Create. Next. Manager 2. Same story. This user is a manager. Password 4321. 4321. Create. The 2 manager accounts are created. If I don't enter the full name, automatically the name only is coming as full name also, see. Okay, now? Now 6 staff accounts also will create. Right click. New user. Help me. Staff 1. This user is a staff member. 3456. 3456. Create. Staff 2. 6543. 6543. Staff 3. Okay. Just giving 5678. Staff 4. Staff 5. Seven, 8, 9, 0. Staff 6. Yeah, guys, I created 6 staff accounts also. Is it clear, guys? Are you clear? Now, totally 8 user accounts are created. All 8 users can access every page in the site now. Did you catch my point or not? All 8 users can access all the pages that are in the site. You try to log out of the current user, log in as a staff 1, try, you can access all the application. Log in as a staff 2, you can access everything now. No restrictions are there. All Windows users have now, right now. But now I want to apply a restriction. What restriction? I want to give access to some pages to some users only. I want to give access to some pages to some users only. I don't want to give access to all. For some users, I want to give some pages. This is my restriction. Okay. Tell me now, what pages you want to give access to whom now? This one should be accessible only to this one. All. Means anyone can access this page. Am I correct? Guys, observe. Use authorize attribute here now. Use the authorize attribute and tell the users from whom you want to give the access. Server/manager1. Server/manager1. I want to give access to, just a minute, guys. Users is equals to. Users is equals to. I want to give access to manager2 also. Okay. Server/manager2. Okay, now what about this one? Means you want to give an anonymous access to this method. Am I right? If you don't specify anything, automatically it is anonymous only. If I don't specify anything, it is anonymous only. But still you want to be clear, right? This is your 6th and 7th filter. What is the 6th filter? Authorize. 7th filter? Allow anonymous. Authorize is to tell from whom I should give the access, and allow anonymous is to tell I want to give a anonymous access to all the users. Come to staff controller. Come on. Staff 1. Staff 2. One, 2, 3, 4. 5. 6. Just a comma separated list of the users. Understood my point? Okay. And now on the second method, what did I say? Required or not required? Not required, but still I'm writing allow anonymous. Allow anonymous. Okay. Now launch the first page. What is the first page? Index. This doesn't have any restriction, right? This is running on allow anonymous access only. So everyone can access. Now I'm clicking on manager homepage. Is the current user NIT? Who is the current user? Is not in the manager list. Am I correct? It's not giving an access and asking you to enter the credentials now. Check it out. Yes or not? Okay. You have a manager account. You know the already password. Come on, enter. manager 1 password 1234. Click on the OK. Check it out. Your application is now logged in server manager 1. Understood or not? Okay, go to home page. Help. Yeah, help is accessible to anyone. Now the current user is and the staff help page. See there, staff help page is also accessible now. Sir, what about staff home page? Click and see what will happen. Shall I try with manager credentials? Shall I try? I asked. Manager 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. Not accessing. Staff 1, 3, 4, 5, 6. Check yourself. Got it? Okay. So now again, manager homepage. Again, credentials window will open. Why? You are currently logged in as a staff member. See, unauthorized. Manager help page is coming back. Why? NIT can access anything now. NIT can access anything, but staff, no, not staff. I was clicking on cancel now. That is locked down. This is a temporary login, that's all. But actually, how to test it? If you want to test it, directly log in into the computer as a manager now. Directly log in into the computer as a manager 1 and click and see. You cannot click on the staff homepage now. Log in as a staff and see. You cannot click on manager homepage, but rest of all the pages are accessible now. Did you understand my point here? Okay, that is how you need to do it. Wait, man, wait. Why you worry about everything? Wait until I complete the topic. Okay, so understood the concept? See, suppose tomorrow I have 10 action methods in my code now. How many? I want to run 8 methods in authorized authentication, 2 methods in anonymous authentication. How many? 2 in? 8 in? Now on the top of all the 8 methods, I should write authorize and give the list now. That becomes a lengthy process. Yes or not? To resolve it, write this on the top of the controller. Write it on the top of the, now understand. All the methods in the controller will be running in the authorized access now. But 2 methods I want to run in anonymous access now. On the top of the 2 methods, write allow anonymous. Which one is better? On the top of 8 methods writing authorize or writing allow anonymous on the top of the 2 methods is easier. Did you catch my point, all of you? Yes or not? Okay. So what is that? Allow, see, in this case, allow anonymous makes sense. Earlier, if I write authorize on the top of the method, no need to write allow anonymous. By default, it is allow anonymous only. But see, what did you do? You written authorize on the top of the controller. So what will happen? All methods in the controller will run in authorized authentication only now. No, guys, I want this help method to run in anonymous now. So did you catch my point or not? 10 methods. 8 should be running in authorize. 2 should be running in. What you'll do? Write authorize on the top of the class and on the top of the methods write allow anonymous. Reverse means 8 in anonymous access, 2 in authorize. What will you do? Write on the top of the 2 methods. No need to write anything on the top of the class. Did you catch my point or not? Did you understand what I asked you? Reverse 8 in anonymous, 2 in. Now on the top of the 2 methods, write authorize. Enough. Sir, if I write on the top of the class allow anonymous, why to write here by default allow anonymous only? Na? Yes or not? And if you make your mistake, you're done. What is that? Watch it. Watch this. It's a very tricky thing. What I'm telling tricky is, I said allow anonymous on the top of the class. Okay, na? And authorize on the top of the method. Observe, guys. And writing code like this is waste. Understood my point? Why? By default, it is allow anonymous. But still, what did you do? On the top of the controller, you written, because you have 8 methods to run in allow anonymous access and you're writing, and no need. By default, everything runs in allow anonymous only. But you thought like, okay, let me do it like this and write. You are in the soup. You're caught in the soup now. What, sir? See, guys, what happens. These are the most dangerous things. Most of the people make this mistake. If you write allow anonymous on the top of the class, it will have the first priority. Your authorize failed. Why? On the top of the method, did you write authorize or not? Not working, see. Are you clear? Don't make this mistake anytime. Never write allow anonymous on the top of the class. Don't try to apply controller level. Allow anonymous should always be action method level only. But don't apply it on the, and that too, when do I need? If I use authorize on the controller, then I should use allow anonymous on the method. Otherwise, by default, every method runs in allow anonymous only. No need to mention that again now. Are you clear? But if you bring it on the top of the class, it will override authorize. It will override the authorized. All methods will run for you in the anonymous access only. Am I clearer? Any confusion? Tell me. Are you getting my point here? Now, someone asked this question. What the question is? So tomorrow, if I have 100 staff members, should I list all the 100 members on the top of the methods now? That will become a lengthy process. Not only lengthy process. Tomorrow, someone left the company. That user account should be deleted. Someone will come into the newly in the company. User account should be added. And the client cannot make any changes. Day before yesterday, I only explained you. Once the application goes to production, can you make changes? Huh? You cannot make the changes. See, right now, how many staff are there? 6 members. Tomorrow, this person left. I should remove this now. 2 new persons came. I should add them now. Every day, you'll keep on changing this. This becomes a complicated process. Yes or not? To resolve this problem, look, to resolve this problem, we have an option. What is it? Groups. What is a group? A group is a collection of users. A group is with a similar set of permissions. With a similar set of permissions. You have a friends batch, some 10 to 20 friends. In these 10 to 20 friends, 4 to 5 people are going to be very like-minded, interested in sports. See, you're totally 20 people. Your total friends are 20 people. And in these 20 people, everyone is not fond of sports. And every day you're sharing the cricket score in the group now. And other 15 people are feeling it bored. I don't want this nonsense. Why are you sharing this? So what you done? You 4 or 5 like-minded people created a separate group now. And you start sharing your information. A group, a collection of users. A collection of users. Are you getting me? So what you can do is, here also we have the same concept of creating a groups now. You can create a group now. How, sir? Watch. By default, every user belongs to a group. By default, every user should belong to a group. For example, admin is a user. Go to properties. If you go to properties, here it will show you member of, and here it will show you is a member of which groups. Is a member of Oracle DBA, is a member of performance log users. Same way here, NIT is a user. And users. By default, every user is a member of users group, guys. By default, every member is a user of users group now. Understood? Okay. So what are this? See, by default, all these are the groups here. Every group has a different set of permissions. Every group has a different set of Permissions. Suppose you are an administrator. Suppose you are administrators. Read this. An unrestricted access to the computer. Yes or not? You log in as a user. Intentional system-wide changes are not allowed. That's why when I log in as a NIT user, when I log in as, I cannot host my application on IIS. Did you catch my point or not? But tomorrow, if I log in into my computer, as a admin, I don't require to run my Visual Studio in the admin mode. Understood or not? Why? I'm an admin. I can do whatever I want. I don't require to log in as a administrator because already I am a admin. But every day you're logging as what? NIT. NIT is not admin. That's why again it is asking you to use an option. What is that option? Run as administrator. Clear? Permissions will be different. Simply speaking, every group is a collection of users with a set of permissions. Okay. Now guys, watch it. Just like I created users, I can create groups also. I can create, right click, new group. I'm giving the name as manager group. Watch carefully. Manager group. Okay. Description. Users in this group are managers. Users in this group are managers. Did you catch my point? Now come below and here you can add the members now. How, sir? Add button, enter the name now. Manager 1. Okay, just carefully observe. Manager 1. And here you'll find an option called check names. And it should immediately turn like this. Means this user account is a valid user account. Suppose you make some spelling mistake. Manage 2. You missed the name now correctly. So when I say check names, it will open and tell you, the user is not there, you want to create a user. Understood my point? So that's why don't forget to click on the check names button. Check names, click on OK. Click on create. So guys, a manager group is created now. Are you clear? And you see the properties. You can see the members of the group. And all of you observe this also. Come to users now. Go to manager 1, properties. He's a member of 2 groups now. Do the same thing with staff also. Do the same with staff also. New group. Staff group. Members in this group are staff. Add staff 1. Check names. Okay. Staff 2. Check names. Okay. Staff 3. Staff 5 and staff 6. Create. The 2 groups are created now. One is manager group and one is staff group. Now come back to your application. Without writing a list of all the users, simply now you can say group here called role. Role is equals to staff group. Role is equals to, and now come to manager controller. Role is equals to manager group. That's it. Tomorrow you don't require to make a change here. If a user left the company, remove him from the group now. If a user came newly, Add him to the group. Everything can be managed on the operating system level. I don't require to make any code changes now. No 100 users present, 200 users present, not a problem, because I don't require to write their names here. Where I write? That is all managed by the system administrator under the OS. Within the computer management, he will manage everything. Suddenly, 2 new people joined. He will create new user accounts. When creating user accounts only, he will take them and add him to the appropriate group now. If he's a manager, manager group. If he's a staff, staff group. Are you clear? Now becoming easier management now? Yes or not? Okay. So you can run and check once. This is only Windows authentication. Basically, I said you, this authentication is maximum. We tried using this only in the intranet-based applications, not in the internet. Why? Array, my application is global. How can I create a user account here? How can I create a user account for a user? That's not possible. It is possible only for within the organization. Click on manager homepage. Check it out. Asking for the authentication. Entering manager 2, password 4321. He's in the group. Manager 1. Did I enter wrong password? Manager 2, I entered wrong password. Maybe I entered wrong password. While typing only, I typed wrong, I think, something. Yeah, working, you see? Same, this is accessible to everyone. And again, you can access this to everyone. But when you click on the staff home page again, staff credentials should be given. Are you guys clearer? Understood now? So this is how you work with Windows authentication. Okay, guys, have a look. What did I do? I created a project with the name MVC app with Windows app. I hosted this on IIS. I disabled anonymous authentication, enable Windows authentication. Disabled anonymous, enable Windows. Then home controller, index page. Just 4 links, that's all. Next, 2 controllers. Add 2 more controllers. One is manager controller. One is staff controller. 2 controllers are what you just added here. Delete the existing index action method under the class and write the below code in the controller classes. Write this code in the class now. Okay, now what you're writing, just 2 action methods there. Then you will add a view for all, and this is a code for all the 4 views. Okay, now run home controllers, index action method. Run the home controllers, index action method, which will display links for navigating to manager home page. You can navigate to manager home page. Second, manager help page, staff home page, and staff help page, all the 4. And once we click on any link, those pages gets opened without any, because currently the site is running in anonymous authentication. Whereas if we want manager home page to be accessible only to, and staff home page to be accessible only to staff, we can do that using authorize attribute. Do you understand what I said? Sir, not anonymous na, Windows authentication na. No, yeah, by default, every method runs in anonymous authentication only. That's what I already clarified you. By default, every method runs in, but we changed it na, you changed it. But if you don't use the attributes authorize and anonymous, still that functionality won't come into action. Are you clear? Changing there to Windows doesn't mean that Windows authentication is coming up into action. You need to change there, and also you require to use the authorize attribute. If both are done, then only Windows authentication is live. Until then, your application is anonymous authentication only. Whereas if we want manager home page to be accessible only to managers and staff home page to be accessible only to staff, we need to do that using authorize attribute. What you'll do to do that? First, need to create new user accounts on your machine. How to do? Computer management, local users and groups in left-hand side. And there, select the new user and click the accounts now. I created 2 managers, 6 staff members. Give your own passwords here. I don't know what passwords you're going to give. Okay. Just give your own passwords. Whatever you want, just create them and set up your passwords for them. Manager 1, manager 2, staff 1, staff 2, staff 3, staff 4, and staff 5, staff 6. Okay. What next? Now go to controller and use the authorize attribute now. Same way. And use the authorize attribute. Okay, now. Note, in the above case, server is my machine name. And same as that, you need to write your machine name there. I don't know what's your machine name. Better first time you run, it will show na. First time you run, it will show na server/NIT. From there, you can pick up your machine name. Server is my machine name. You write your machine name. Now, use the switch user option in your machine. Log by using any new user account, and based on the user you have logged in, those index action methods will be accessible. Okay. Whereas rest of other action methods in the controller will run in anonymous access. Clearer or not? Directly, don't test in the way I shown you. How you do? Sign out from the current user. Log in as manager 1 and proceed. Understood? When you click on, you log in as manager 1, when you click on home, it won't open a window again to ask you already password again now. Already you logged in as manager and directly it should work now. Next what? Applying authorized filter controller level. If required, we can use authorized filter controller level. We can use it controller level. And in that case, all the action methods of that control will be accessible to valid users only. And we do that as following. Same code here, I put authorize on the top now, that's all. Okay, now, next. Allow anonymous authentication to some action methods. In case we apply authorized filter, see, when we apply authorized filter in controller level, all action methods in the controller will be running under authentication mode. And if we want any action method to be running in anonymous authentication mode, we need to use allow anonymous filter on those action methods. In our above example, we want help action method. Which one? Help action methods of manager controller and staff control to run in allow anonymous authentication. And to do that, add allow anonymous attribute to those methods in both controllers as both controllers. On both the controllers, go to the top and write allow anonymous. Clear till here? But never use allow anonymous on the top of the class. I already warned you. Okay, now? What next? Group role-based authentication. Just now explained you. In the above case, we have given authentication to users by specifying their names in the comma separated list. But if at all we have multiple users like 5 managers, 20 staff members, we need to specify the complete list of members under authorized. And to avoid this, we have an option of role-based authentication. For that, what you require to do first? Create a groups, user groups. Okay, you're just going to create the user groups. Remember the process now? I given the complete list, how to create a group, how to add a member of. Click on that and add it. Okay, and here check names. Check names and just add all the things. Now replace users property under authorized filter to roles and specify the role name. What did I write now? Roles equal to. Clear? Roles equal to manager group and staff group. No need to write all the things. Are you clear with all the 7 filters? What is the first one? Child action only. Second one, validate Input, yeah. Output cache. Okay, second one is output cache. Third one, validate input. Validate anti-forgery. Okay, fifth one, handle error. Sixth one, authorize. Seventh one, anonymous. Okay, now see, authorize and allow anonymous comes under authorization filter. Authorize and allow anonymous comes under authorization filter. Handle error comes under exception filter. Yes or not? What is the first filter? Child action only. What did I say? Action filter before filter. Action filter before. Cache. Result filter after. It is a after result filter. Validate input. Action filter before. Fourth one, validate anti-forgery. Action filter before. You see here in the 7, 3 are action filters. One is result filter. One is exception filter. 2 are. But sir, what about authentication filters? What about? We don't have any authentication filter implemented by default. We don't have any authentication filter implemented by default. By default, authentication filter is not there. Why? Authentication filter came into picture in MVC 5. We don't have earlier. Earlier, we have only 4 filters. What are the 4? Authorize, action, result, and exception. First day when I started on Monday, then only I said to you, what is that? Authentication filter is introduced in MVC 5, and they did not give any implementation for that. Yeah, you can show now. The question is, can we hide manager action method links to staff role users? Yeah, you can. You're able to identify the user or not? Yes or not? Then write if condition there. CSHTML, you can write C# code also, na? Write a if condition. If user is manager, these 2 links should be shown. Else. Are you clear? Yes or not? If the user is a manager, these 2 links. Otherwise, these 2 links. You can write in if condition. Write if condition. That's all. Okay. Well, basically, I'll show that in MVC 5. If user is logged in, it will show you username and log out. If user is not logged in, it will show you login and register. We'll write conditions. Okay, we'll see that. That's what the advantage with MVC. You can write C# and HTML code. You can write if condition then, and you can restrict all the things. Okay, we'll see that, guys. We'll see that particular thing also. Yeah, coming back. What I'm telling you, we don't have a authentication filter. Sir, then how you should develop it on your own? What did I say Monday? Some filters are readily available. You can consume them. And some filters, you're going to develop them now. Are you clear? And we are going to see 2 things at a time right now. What is it? How to create our own filters. Custom filter. How to create? 7 filters are there. I want a new filter now. You can write your own filter. Understood? And when you're writing a filter, again the question arises, what filter do you want to write? Exception filter, result filter, action filter, otherwise authorize filter, authenticate filter. That is also a question now. Did you catch my point or not? See, allow anonymous is a authorize filter, right? Validate input is a validate input, action filter. Cache, result filter. Like that, when you are writing your code, you must tell now what type of filter do you want to build now. Did you catch my point or not? So I want to develop a authentication filter. I want to develop a. So as a part of the custom filters, what I'm showing you, how to create your own filter, and your filter will be an authentication filter. And you'll have a doubt still. How do I say, sir, this is authentication, this is authorized? Array, when you want to build a application, when you're building an application, suppose you want to develop a class, that behaves like an exception. We inherit from the exception class. Default behavior, if you want to get means, you will be inheriting from a predefined class now. Yes or not? All the people who learned Windows, there we use forms. All the people who learned Windows, I'm telling you, okay? There we use form. Your form inherits from form class. So that automatically your class becomes a form. And all the people who learned ASP.NET web forms, there you have a web page. Your web page inherits from page. Based on the inheriting, automatically the behavior will change now. Here also same story, guys. You remember we have 5 interfaces. What are the 5? I authorize filter, I authenticate filter, I action filter, I result filter, I exception filter. Okay, now you want to create an action filter, define a class and implement I action filter. Your class is an action filter now. I want a result filter. Implement I result filter. I want a authentication filter. Implement I authentication filter. I want an exception filter. I exception filter. Hope you guys are clear what I'm telling you. That is why I said all the things to you on that day. Monday, when I talked about interfaces, you'll have a doubt. Why am I talking about the interfaces? If you don't know that interface now, you cannot write a custom filter now. Got the point? If you want to write a custom filter, what is important? The interfaces are important. Okay, read this, guys. In MVC, filters are used to inject logic at different levels of request processing and allows us to share logic across controllers and action methods. We are provided with various filters in MVC, which we have used above, and apart from that, we can also create our own filters to implement logic at various levels. Are you clearer or not? See, guys, whenever there is an exception in the code, immediately my application should send a mail to the customer support. Did you catch my point? Whenever there is an exception in the code, what should happen? My application should send a mail to the customer support or a developer so that they come to know there is a problem in the application now. Did you catch my point or not? Who should know? Developer or customer support. See, guys, application is in production. You are the end user using the application. Error came. Will you fix? Come on, tell me, will you fix? Who will fix? Developer should fix. Means a developer should know that now. Yes or not? Developer should know that. If developer has to know, developer, even though he won't fix until my client asks. Until my client asks, why will I do? I am the developer. The client has to ask me. You are using a banking website here. I am the developer the site now. You got an error. But you are not going to talk with me and say, fix the error now. Who are you to ask me? Yes or not? Who has to come to me? The client, the bank has to come to me and tell me, there is an error in the application, fix the problem. Fix the problem. If that is the case, the bank should know the error first. Got it? So what should happen? Whenever there is an error, a mail should be generated with all the error details and sent to the customer support. Now, customer support of the bank will inform the developer telling there is a mistake coming, how to fix this problem. If it is simple, some configuration changes are there, I will do it. Otherwise, I'll tell it. What is it? This much time it will take to fix this particular problem. I need some 30 or 40 hours to fix this particular problem. Maybe a small change, but a lot of process, investigation, First, I require to investigate the problem now. Yes or not? I require to fix it. After fixing it, I said you 3 stages, remember. Fixing is your development stage. Again, it should go to staging. From there, again, it go to production. All these different phases. It's not like, okay, you have a problem, I'll change the code. And next 5 minutes, your changes won't happen. Even if small change also, minimum 40 to 50 hours of work for a developer. Otherwise, how companies will survive here? Otherwise, how the company will survive? Paying you lakhs of salaries. How do they survive? Understood my point? They just show all these particular things to the client. All these things to the client. Okay. So basically, what I'm trying to tell you is, a mail should be generated whenever an exception occurs. Are you clear? Yes or not? Handle error is one filter we have already available. But that handle error will not go for sending any mails. I should write my own filter now. I should write my own filter. Something like I'm writing a filter called as exception mail filter. Understand me? What I'm writing? Every filter is a class. Every filter is a class. I'm writing a class now. What? Public class exception mail. Okay, simply exception mail is the name of the class. Understood? And if you want to make this class as a filter, first you require to inherit from a class called filter attribute class. You want to develop an exception, you should inherit from exception. You want to build a control, you should inherit from control. Same process. If you want to make this class as a filter, what you should do? Point clear? Which filter you want? Authentication filter, authorization filter, exception filter. What do you want? Louder. Comma. 2 things I need to do. First step, then this will become a filter. Second step, exception filter. I should implement the why, sir? In this, there are some methods now. Under those methods, you're required to write the logic. One method will execute before the exception. One method will execute. Before the exception. No, the one method only there. That method will execute after the exception. The method will execute after the exception. And inside of that method, you need to implement all the logic for sending a mail now. So whenever exception occurs, automatically what will the filter do? The filter will send off a mail now. Got the point? Yes or not? Suppose you are writing a action filter. You're writing a action filter. 2 methods are there. One method executes before the action method. One method. After that, if you want your logic to execute before the action method, you need to write the logic in one place. After the action method, you're required to write the logic in another place. How do I know all these things, sir? Means which method should I write the code and all? I closed up the project. What is the question? How do I know in which method should I write the logic? I'll clarify you. But you know na which filter are you implementing? Or without knowing that only you'll start the work? Tell me, guys. You know first na? What you know? You are implementing some filter. Yes or not? Authentication filter, authorization filter, you know that first. So based on that, which interface to use, you know na? Tell me. Public class test colon. What is the class first? I said you filter attribute. Second one, different filters, action filter. Now there are 2 methods in the class. You require to write implementation. One method will execute before the action method. One will execute after the what methods? Put your mouse here, it will tell you. Na? Put your mouse here, it will tell you. Executing before. Present tense, past tense, executed after. If you write logic here, it will execute before. If you write logic here, after. Same way, exception filter. One method only I said you, remember? Simple English, guys. On exception, execute this method now. And in this method, you write your logic for sending the mail. So whenever the exception occurs, this filter will come now, send off the mail now. Are you clear? The best example, triggers here. You learn trigger, that is the functionality of the trigger. You perform an insert, trigger fires. And you don't know trigger is firing behind the skin, but performing some actions behind now. This is also same only. Error came. Automatically, this method will come into picture. Got it or not? Understood now? So are you clear? Custom filter, 2 steps to a custom filter. First step, inherit the class filter attribute. Second step, implement the interface. Which interface? That is, you should tell which interface you want to implement, not me. Got it or not? Filter attribute is common. Which interface is? You decide. Exception filter, authentication filter, authorized filter, whatever it is, you should tell that. Got it? Now my requirement is, I want to define a custom filter for performing authentication. Did you catch my point? I want to define a custom filter to implement authentication. Now tell me, what should I do? Define a class inheriting from filter attribute and implement authentication filter class. Which one? Sorry, interface. Read. See, we write custom filters for various reasons. For logging, saving data to database before any, or we could also create a filter for fetching data from a database and setting them as global values in our application. For example, let us say we want to run security logic or login logic across controllers, and to do so, we can write a filter containing those logic and enable them across all controllers. When we enable a filter across all controllers or actions, the filter executes on all upcoming HTTP requests. As discussed earlier, in ASP MVC, we have 5 types of filters, and the sequence of running those filters is as following. Then reading what's the picture, you'll understand it much better. Then reading all the 5, what's the picture? It is very clear. First filter. From that filter, it goes to after authorization, after action, and if anytime exception can come. Exception can come in all the 4 levels, guys. Exception can come in all the 4 levels. Means authentication also exception can come. Authorization also exception can come. Action also exception can come. But that's going to be the last. That's going to be the last. So this is the sequence. Hope you guys are clear. To create a custom filter, we need to perform the following tasks. Step 1. Already I said you, what is the class? Filter attribute. Okay, it's a class, normal class. Can I see, generally understand, normal class, abstract class, interface. Normal class will provide you methods to consume, which can be overridden if they are virtual. Correct? Abstract class, compulsory abstract methods will be there, you should implement. Interface, compulsory abstract methods will be there, which you should implement. Correct? Huh? Filter attribute is a normal class, not an abstract class. Means what? Here we don't implement. What we can do? Override. Read the second point. If you want, you can override. In the last, that's what I mentioned. That is only optional, not mandatory. I may do, I may not do. It's not mandatory for me. Third point, that's important. Continue that process now. For action filter, I action filter. Result filter, I exception filter. Last step. When Microsoft has given you 7 filters, you applied them on the top of the action methods now. Now you develop your own filter and do the same thing only now also. Got it or not? You can also do the same thing in this process. Clearer? Yes or not? So I'm going to show you 2 things in your application now. One, I'm developing a custom filter. Are you clear? And to develop the custom filter, this is a process we need to follow. And what custom filter? Authentication filter I'll develop. Are you clear? With that, I'm going to also show you forms authentication. Clear? We're done with Windows authentication. What we want to see now? Forms authentication is what we wanted to see now. I want to implement what? Forms authentication. Hope you guys are clear. Okay. So this is what exactly the requirement is. So implementing forms authentication by defining a custom filter. By defining a custom filter. Okay, now? Now, earlier we created MVC app with the Windows Auth. Now I'm creating MVC app with Forms Auth. Observe the process, all of you, carefully. Open the studio in admin mode. Create a new project. ASP.NET web application. Give the name. Click create. Going with empty MVC. Create. Next, host on IIS. Host it on IIS. Properties. Web. Local IIS. Create. Save. Done. Okay. So that is our first stage. What's that? Adding host it on IIS by creating a virtual directory. Now adding a controller. What is that? Home controller. Home controller. Okay. Guys, I wanted to create a registration page and a login page now. Registration page, and we created earlier also, na? But we never saved them. We created earlier also here. We never saved them. But now I want to save. The first user should register. I'll store the credentials in the database. Next, you will perform a login. Okay, na? So to store the details, I want a table now. Connect to your MVC DB. Create a table now. Click on connect. Okay. Open the new query window. Target your database, MVCDB, and create one table. What is the table name? User ID is the primary key. Name. Password. 16 character password. Encryptions, I'll show encryptions also in MVC core. In core, I'll show you. We can encrypt and store the password. For the time being, I'm showing as it is. Next. You know status, I don't require to tell you. Okay, now execute. Table is created. Okay. Now, can you configure the entity data model DB first approach and connect and access the table now? Come on. What do you do? Models, ADO.NET, entity data model, test, EF, any name guys, no props. What you want to use? DB first. Next. Test. Okay. Yes. Users. Now taking this model class, can I create my views now? Yes or not? What views do you want? I want one view for registration. I want one view for login. Are you getting me or not? Okay, just a minute. Let it complete. I'm teaching you a new concept here. Watch it. What is my question? Can I use this model for creating my views now? I want to create two views. One is to register, one is to login. Can I use this model for creating my views? You cannot. Yeah. Why? Where is confirm password? How do you go for registration now without a confirm password? But table will not have a confirm password column. Or you'll have password column only. You will not have a confirm password column. But if I use this for creating my view now, what is the problem? Confirm password option is not there. Okay. Problem in login. For login, why you need a password, email, mobile, user ID and all these things. What you require? For login, why do you require name, email, mobile and status? What do you need, guys? User ID, password. Then I'm going to use this model there now. Understood my point? So don't forget one thing. What you know? Every model that is generated from a table cannot be used for creating a view always. Every model, understand my statement correctly, every model that is generated from the table cannot be used for creating the views always. Then what to do, sir? In that scenario, you will be creating your own model classes based on the requirement. I need two more model classes now. What are the two more model classes? One is register model and one is login model. Register model should contain user ID, name, password, confirm password, email, mobile. That's all. Status not required. Login model, user ID, password. And if you want anything like remember me, that particular option. That's all. Did you catch my point or not? And remember me doesn't require to be stored in the database. That's why I don't have a separate column for that now. Clear? If you do like this, we call it as a MVVM architecture, model view model architecture. Do you remember in the starting classes I said you, based on MVC, so many sub architectures are there. MVVM, okay, MVM, like this, MVP, so many sub architecture. Root is MVC. Under that we have so many sub architectures. All these sub architectures are only for a particular extent, not for the whole application development now. MVC is for the whole application development. Here problem is for creating a view. For that I'm using a different architecture. What is it? MVVM, model view, view model. That is called as MVVM architecture. That is a part of MVC. Is my point clear, all of you? We require to use that architecture now. Why, sir? Array, if I don't tell you that name now, it is a normal process. But tomorrow you should understand, okay, MVVM is this one only. We done that, we do it. But we don't know this is called as MVVM. Did you catch my point or not? So that's why before I'm telling you, array, we are doing an application with a different style called MVVM architecture. In the sense, to create the views, we are going to generate new models now. One model for register view, one model for login view. If you develop separate models like that, we call that as a MVVM architecture. But recollect your previous database example. For all views, we use the same model. Correct or not? For adding, displaying, updating, deleting, did you use the same model or not? That's regular MVC. That is regular MVC. But this is a sub called as MVVM. But finally, when you're interacting with the database, you're required to use this only. Understood? While interacting with the database, what should I use? Other only. Then you're developing new, that models are only for views, that's all. What is the scope of them? Only view generations, that's all. Those models cannot be used further. Correct? Clear? Sorry, not correct. Clear? What model should I use for database option? Back to MVC. Back to that MVVM is only for view designing. That's all. Okay, now. So how many models do you want now? Louder. What are the two? For registration, one model. Login, one model. Registration should contain user ID, name, password, confirm password, email, mobile. No need status. And login model, user ID, password, and your choice. If you want to remember me, that option also is required. Okay. So create your own model classes now. How to? Right click, add a class. What is the name I said? Register model. My class name is, and I did not write anything newly here. You know each and everything. Check it out. What did I do? Check, man. What did I do? User ID required and regular expression should be only alphanumerics. Minimum 6, maximum 20. Name only alphabets and spaces. Minimum 3, maximum 50. Okay. Password should start with an uppercase alphabet. Should start with a and followed by lowercase alphabets, numerics and these special characters. Minimum 7, maximum 15. Total minimum 8, maximum 16. Why? A to Z 1 plus this one. So minimum 8, maximum 16. Anyhow, you even given the length as 16 only in the database for password. Don't forget that. Next, confirm password. Compare with password. Email. Data type email. Mobile. You know this validation already. Clearer or not? This is my register model. Same way, what I want? Login model. Right click, add class login model.cs. I did not put that, guys. I put only user ID and password. I did not have a remember me. Okay. If you want, you can add remember me. But remember me won't be stored in the database. Even if you add here also, no problem. That is only for a checkbox. Okay. Again, same validations. Display, required, regular expression. Data type, required, regular expression. The two model classes are ready now. Okay, now use these two classes for generating the views. Use these two classes for generating the views now. Now come to the home controller. What do you want in the home controller? I want two methods here. Come to the home controller. There is a index action. There is an index. I'll write the code for this view. I'll add it. Now you want to do all the registrations and all now? Yes or not? What you're doing, authentication, authorization, and to write all that means you're doing account management. Did you understand? Account management, yeah, registration and all this is called account management now. So I am adding a controller with the name called account controller. What is that? Here I am going to write my methods for what? Login, register, going forward, forgot password, change password, all account management should be here only. The home controller is site home page. That is for all my operations, not for account handling. My separate controller I added now. What is that? And here I wanted to write the two methods. First method, register. Second method, login. View result, login. These are get methods only. You should add the post methods also. Right? These are only get methods. You should add your post methods also. We'll do that. We'll do how to add the post methods. Okay, now? So the first thing is you're just going to add a register, simply return view, and then login, return view. That's it. Nothing more. Post methods, I can use all the functionalities now. What? Validate anti-forgery. We learned it now. We'll implement all those particular things. Okay. Shall we get the views now? Use scaffolding, man. Right click, add view, MVC 5 view, register, create. Watch guys, create model class, register model. Don't select the context class. Don't select the context class and click on. It will generate all the controls to you based on the model class now. Check it out. And now you observe. I did not show you earlier, but now you observe. @HTML.anti-forgery token. It was automatically bringing that functionality to you now. Is it clear? And now you have data validations in the code. Watch guys. Validation summary, all these things you manually done in the earlier case, remember? Auto-generated class, text danger, I written this code, all this code for you. Go and check it out. Data annotations. I explained everything to you there. Next. There is a div for user ID, editor for text box, and also validation message. You see now, you have all the controls generated. What did I say you earlier? Use this option. If you want any changes, it will become easy to customize. Correct or not? What is the button value? See? Change to register. One more button I'll add. Reset here. Reset. Okay, in the bottom, you have some backlinks and all. Delete it. I don't want a backlink. And see here, it was using some script files. It was using some script files and all. For what? You know, na? jQuery validate, jQuery unoptress. If you want, you need all these particular things right now. And run and see your register model is ready. Your register view is ready. And all this generation is done based on the model class now. But when I'm clicking on the insert button, register button, I will use the user class only for inserting into my table. I won't use my register model. Register model is only for view generation purpose. That's all. It is not going to be used for you anymore in the application, only for view generation validations. Are you clearer or not? Understood me? So that is what we just required to write our logic. See, it is showing you register model 2 times. That only I said you. Unnecessary things, go and delete them. Here also we have a register. Here also we have a register model. I will change it as registration form. Just make up all the required changes. Registration form. Registration form. See, better than writing all code, use this option and changing it will be easy, na? That's what I'm suggesting you. That's all. See, earlier we have only registered. Now we have reset also. Sir, styling not applied, not applied. Why? Bootstrap is not there. Drag and drop the bootstrap files. Drag and drop your bootstrap code also. We did not do that. Okay, we'll do it. That's not a big deal. Am I clear what is MVVM? Same way, do it for login also. Clear? We'll continue this in the next session. Let's stop it here.